Duke's defense helped them win in hostile territory against Virginia Tech, but will it be enough to beat Carolina in the big first round matchup between the two top 10 programs? Kenton and I talk about all of that here on Locked On ACC.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. I'm your host, Candace Cooper, joined by Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack. Each and every day, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you download, subscribe to the pod from anywhere in the audio world, as well as our YouTube page where you can subscribe and get in our content action, join our community, and talk to us because we certainly love to talk back. We've got a full slate today talking about a little Duke, a little Carolina, a little bit of portal updates, and all in between. Little women's basketball. You just never know how we're going to hit you. But the most important thing is we are going to give you the best news when it comes to ACC. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers join today and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. All right, Kitten, I know it's going to be hard for us, but we must do it. Talking about Duke. Picked up a good victory against Virginia Tech on the men's basketball side of things and went into a place where they were sitting at 1-6 when it came to beating the Hokies in Blacksburg. But good defense and just want to certainly put them over the hump.
You know, good defense, want to, and also some other guys showing up. I mean, you have to have, in a game like this where you're going into a tough environment, where you're going into an environment that, regardless of what you say about Blacksburg, those fans are going to show up. And with that being said, you need guys to show up in a moment like this, like a Ryan Young. Like that's the type of performance that you look at and say, hey, him off the bench means a lot to this team. Obviously, Jeremy Rhodes doing his thing means a lot to this team. This Duke team coming off of a pretty good win in their last game as well, you really needed to not sleep and not overlook anybody going into the Battle of the Blues. They took care of business as they needed.
100%. For those that aren't familiar or have been sleeping on the basketball season so far, Duke came off a big win, a 72-71 victory against Clemson. It was a little controversial. Coach Brown certainly wasn't in his feelings. And maybe too, now that we've listened to him talk about it, it's really he wanted it for the kids because, you know, whenever you get to go and play in Cameron Indoor, it is such a great time. And for whatever, reasons to come up with the nail, you figure out how to move forward. But Duke certainly could not look past this Virginia Tech team. They gave them all they got. But I will agree with Kenton here that not only was defense certainly strong for the Blue Devils, it was just simply Virginia Tech not being able to make clutch shots, right? You don't hit your free throws in the clutch. Free throws. I can't emphasize enough how frustrating it is to see teams not be able to make free throws in the clutch. You miss your last 3 shot attempts at the line, and then, you're missing some wide open threes, missing, smoking some layups, and that'll do it every time, especially against the top 10 team.
Absolutely. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I'll tell you this much. For as much as people talk about, Padula and Couture and all that they are, Padula has a little bit of that. What's that guy's name for Syracuse? I want to say, I know it was Neitzel from Michigan State, but it was a guy from Syracuse and he's on Boeheim's Ballers in a tournament every year. It's a Forever Orange girl knows the answer to this question. I know
Buddy
she will.
Boeheim? No, I'm just kidding.
No, not but it's another dude, but it's a white guy who could shoot the blood out the ball, but he never knew when enough was enough. He never knew when, like, all right.
Joe Girard, I know you're at Clemson now, but dang, no, I'm just kidding. It's not him either.
I can't remember his name for the life of me, but it's always that moment, that moment where it's like you have teammates you can pass the ball. Shooting 4 for 15, you shot your team out the game, brother. And I get it. When you are the guy that he is, you have that green light in perpetuity.
And
You
Mike
have the
Young has the
ability.
confidence in him, and that's the
Yeah,
other part of it. Like when your coach is
absolutely.
like, is it giving me a Caleb Love flashback? I
Oh
don't know.
boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go.
Or you can shoot yourself in games. You can certainly shoot yourself out of games. I think Padula just, maybe with the crowd energy, he thought he could get himself going, but it really just wasn't there. And Hunter Couture, like I said, smoking layups when you had to make them clutch shots. It just wasn't great for them. But, credit to MJ Collins and Lynn Kidd for trying their best to keep them in the game. Like there were some people that stepped up in big ways, to your point of saying Duke had some really good guys stepping up as well. Ryan Young, who's had a limited role this season. You had McCain stepping up as well. And, we saw a little bit of remnants of Roach of old in terms of Jeremy Roach being able to make some clutch baskets and really command that team throughout that second half.
Yeah, we saw that Jeremy Roach that was considering entering the draft. We saw that guy.
Stop it.
What? Okay. So
God knows. This might be the Shade Room podcast because it's giving.
I'm wrong for saying he finally looked like an NBA player out there?
No, but it's the fact that you said he was going to consider the draft and he had no business.
So now who's being shady? I said he looked like an NBA player, and you sat up here and said he had no business doing
last season. I mean, there's plenty of people that are really high on themselves that I think are how do I put this? Elite play. Come on. Elite play is just another level. And so when you talk to me about the elite, the creme de la cremes in the NBA, and then you tell me about guys who are really strong collegiate players, I'm like, cool. But sometimes you got to be a cut above. And there's certain people that just aren't there yet, or might never be there. That's not their testimony.
And you know what? I think that, again, Jeremy Roach showed up and showed out in this game. And I'll tell you what, if he can shoot the jump shot at the level that he did in this one in the NBA, which, of course, nobody's expecting him to be an 80% three-point shooter for his career. Nobody's expecting that. But if he can come anywhere close to that, that's where you say, oh, okay, this might be an NBA player. This might be a ball player to get him some run, do him a little something. Yeah, because before, like you said, had no business. This game, I can see it. I see the vision. I'm not saying whether or not I agree or disagree with the vision. I at least see the vision.
He definitely has to get healthy if he wants to continue to make a run, but they'll have plenty of time to do that as they talk through the UNC Duke matchup, which is what we're going to get into next. We know that is Battle of the Blue Bloods, which, for all intents and purposes is back to being relevant to national programs who are in the top 10. And we know that this is only it's so close, it's not even funny. They're only divided by about 45 points out of the 750,000 that they've dropped into this game. But we're going to remind you about just why this might be important in round one for both programs. But first, passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED lights, and more. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find what you're looking for. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you'll need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Honestly, I'm about to be on eBay Motors because with the way the dealership tried to play me in an oil change today, when you go to the dealership and you're like, all I want is my oil change.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, you need a new carburetor, you need new coolant, you need new tires, you need rotation.
The brake pads are wearing down, everything.
I said,
you need alignment, you need this, you need that.
And you know what I did? I walked right out. I said,
change the oil.
I said, change oil. But I went right outside and called my daddy. I sure did. And I'm just a girl. Why are they trying to get me? I'm just a girl.
That's what it is. These dealerships see women walk in and they're like, oh, boys, we got an $80 oil change on our hands, fellas. We got
$93.
it.
I said, oh, don't play with me. I'm calling my daddy right now.
$93 for a Honda oil change.
I said, I'm calling my daddy right now. Stop playing with me. But that's neither here nor there. My point in saying this, because it ties, right? Sometimes you feel like
I need to get into the mechanic business. I need to get in the mechanic.
all you want is a simple fix. You just want it to be quick and easy. It never quite seems to be just that. And that's exactly what I feel like is going to be round one for UNC Duke. It's not going to be quick and easy. It's two teams that have definitely tried to figure themselves out, find their identity, and it's taken a while, right? UNC has certainly been in the news more prominently than Duke this past season. They're sitting at number 3 while Duke is at number 7, but Duke did what they needed to do by beating Virginia Tech. I think I would not, if I'm a Carolina person myself, would not have wanted to face a pissed off Duke team that maybe got taken by the Hokies. So I think this one is going to be throughout the record books per usual. It's going to be bucket for bucket, but who is going to step up? And that's the biggest part for me. It's going to be somebody we're least expecting. This could be Elliot Cadeau's breakout game.
These two teams hate each other.
Yeah.
They hate each other. And that's what rivalry should be. Rivalry should be. I don't like you. You don't like me. I think you're not as good as I am. You think I'm not as good as you are. We genuinely don't like each other. And I wish that okay, I'm gonna say this, and some people are gonna get mad at me, but I'm gonna let it ride. I wish that there were more basketball rivalries take on a little different life than football rivalries, and I wish there was a little bit more football to this one. You know what I mean? A little bit more violence, a little bit more. I really don't like. There's like something different. Like with basketball, there's like this. I don't like you, but there's a mutual respect thing. And football is like, no, I hate everything you stand for.
Well, football, a couple screws loose. You have to have a couple screws loose to voluntarily want to go out and beat somebody up every single play. So there's that. But I mean, have we forgot Montross and the cut eye? Rest in peace to my dog, right? Have we forgot about Tyler Hansborough and Gerald and the bloody nose? Like, it's been intense, right? There's been some I will say in recent years, they all are homies. They do TikToks together. Like, this generation is lost, but fine, whatever. All I'm saying is I think it's going to be an Elliot Cadeau breakout game. I'm calling it now. I feel like he needs that little rile up. He's been waiting patiently, getting guidance from Marcus Page, and here it comes. RJ Davis is going to try and do his big one, but he's going to be well defended by Duke. But Elliot Cadeau is going to really be that floor general.
I know that Marcus Page is still alive, but Elliot Cadeau feels like Marcus Page reincarnated, right? Like, he feels exactly like Marcus Page did his freshman year. What?
Okay, freshman year. Okay.
He's a true freshman. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to compare freshman him to senior Marcus Page. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's not fair. He is exactly that. He can distribute the ball. He knows how to run everything at the pace. He lets RJ play off the ball and all that. But he just, when they come to finishing this up, it's a little tough. And then you look on the Duke side of things.
He's finding it.
He is. And then you look on the Duke side of things, and you're surprised because this team it's what Katy Perry said. You're hot, then you're cold. You're yes, then you're no. You're in, then you're out. You're up, then you're down. You get Kyle Filipowski looking like the second coming of Dirk Nowitzki. And then there's games where it's like, what's going on? You get Jeremy, and I will give Jeremy Rush this. His three-point shooting this year, phenomenal. Yeah. He has done something. He's found something in his game that, again, that will get a 6'2" guard to have a long career in the league, the ability to hit that three ball. He has found that. But then you ask yourself, is he gonna play a little out of control? You look at Proctor, you say the same thing. He has those games where it's like, that's an NBA guard right there. He's got all the tools. He's got all the things. And then he had those moments where you're just like, who is this? Who are you, man? And so this game, to me, is going to, like you said, come down to, number one, the guys who are the unheralded heroes showing up. But number two, somebody's star's got a star. I think round 2 could be a war of attrition where it's blow for blow. You don't know who's going to do what. I think in this first round, it's going to be about somebody's star showing up and saying, hey, you're not – I'm a Maybach. You're a 300C. You look like me till I pull up, buddy, it's going to be one of those games. And we're going to see. We're going to see if it's Armando showing Kyle, hey, if I got to get ready to learn Spanish, you got to get ready to learn Italian because you ain't going to nobody's league either. If it's going to be R.J. Davis getting showed up by Jeremy Roach-Parker, it's going to be something. Is it going to be Harry Ingram going from the second coming of this?
You pick a new name for this man every show, and I'm crying. Harry Harrison.
I'm gonna call him Harry. I don't know what you want from me.
I
don't know what you want from me. I'm gonna call him Harry.
Harrison. It's okay.
I'm gonna call him Harry.
You know what?
All right. Here's. I'm a man of my word. If he personally requests that I call him Harrison, I'll give him that. Now William is still William. I'm not calling that man Mac. But yeah, Harrison for sure.
Hey, if you want to call him Harry, I don't think he's going to call us up. I could care less. I just found it funny. Mm-hmm. But speaking of Harrison is the type of, he got that dog in him that I think you talked about a little spice. He could bring it.
Yeah, and you know what? I love a tough physical edge. I don't have a rooting interest in this game. Okay, I really and truly don't. I just hope everybody has fun.
Both teams lose. Okay, I heard you.
Hey, listen. If I'm rooting for the asteroid, you don't need to tell the fans that. You don't need to tell them that. Our listeners do not need to know that. That don't matter. No, but seriously, in this game, I want to see good basketball because at this point, how those people did the videos talking about Lamar Jackson, save us. Please save us. That's how I'm looking at these two teams right now. Because the rest of the ACC, we are all looking like hot cross buns. It's just not looking good.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with you today? You're not wrong. Syracuse actually isn't bad, if I'm going to be honest. No, okay. I'm trying to find it. Virginia. Some people are a little high on Virginia, saying they might be in the national championship game. Just so you know, that's what our comments say. I'm just letting you know. Final Four, if or bust.
Final Four or bust.
I'm just a woman of the people.
We'll call this season Jamarcus Russell because, baby, this is the biggest bust you ever gonna see.
Things could change on a dime. You never know with this Virginia Tech team. You said it, Virginia. I mean, I get the Tech in there. Virginia team, you said it yourself. So we could try, find it. Who knows?
It's a different ball game. That pack line defense, I'm going to let you do these ad reads, but I'm just saying.
Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some super bets. Or you could be right in the mix, okay? Some of us will be attending and doing all the things. Now, only you can get a nice Super Bowl bet with Super Bowl 58, but FanDuel also has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, and so much more. New customers join today, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, we are going to land the plane because we always have to. Kenton Gibbs is talking through some ACC hoops news, and we're preparing for round 1 of UNC Duke, correct? And we feel like it's going to be a good one. As the week progresses, we will give you a great opportunity to tell us who you feel like the matchup is going to be best for head-to-head, as well as give you some, of course, football updates, portal news. Miami apparently so far is getting a head start on getting things right in the portal. We'll rank who is probably the best of the best when it comes to our ACC schools. We don't want to leave you guys out, as well as giving some entirely too early predictions. But things are shaking, right? Ken, I don't know if you want to give update on the Miami portal news, but the people need it.
So, Miami got a big-time commitment from a community college defensive tackle that is, said to be one of the best in the nation. But all in all, the rankings for the portal out of the ACC so far go as follows in terms of our top 5 teams, because Miami is just barely on the outside of that top 5. And they're on the outside of that top 5 because of a new addition in Cal. You got FSU at number 4. You've got the University of Louisville at number 6. You've got NC State at number 10, Syracuse at number 22, Cal at 26 is the 5th ACC team. And, of course, Miami at 30 is just barely outside of that group. And I think, honestly and truly, I don't think people are giving Louisville their proper credit because this is a team that went to the ACC championship. And if they address that quarterback position, and granted, your Thrash is going to the NFL now. That's a hell of a receiver that you're losing. You're losing a lot of talent, but you got one of the best edge rushers in all of America in Ashton Gelati coming back. You have a ton of talent on that team that is going to be returning. Lots of guys who've experienced being right on the precipice of winning of potentially what would be in this year's season a playoff berth due to winning the ACC. And it was so close they could taste it. Last year might have been their knock on the door year. They might kick the door down, but nobody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about how great FSU has come on late in the portal. Everybody's talking about how good NC State's been. Everybody's talking about how Fran and company up in New York have gotten things rolling in Syracuse. But I'll tell you, Louisville has not even quietly, they very loudly put together one of the best portal classes that we are seeing.
People said you were a little too hard on Tyler Shucker. I'm just letting you know what the people said. They said you were a little too hard on the quarterback position. Don't yell in this mic because it's loud in my ear. But all I'm letting you know is people say you need to relax.
Quarterback is the only position where you can constantly underperform. And because some website told everyone you were good 5 years ago, people still believe it.
Maybe you just need the right system. You know, everything system. Brock Purdy is going to the Super Bowl. Come on. Mr. Irrelevant is going to the Super Bowl.
Let me quote my good sis, Maya Angelou.
Oh, my God.
When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Let me throw a little bit of Kenton on it. Or hell, even the second time. Okay? Because now we're at try number 3. We're at try number 3. And I'm not going to yell because I know your ear sensitive. I want you to get sensory overload. That boy is the equivalent of Nicki Minaj's Bigfoot diss.
Oh, my God.
It's mid that we all saw coming, and yet mid that's still here nonetheless.
Don't do my girl like that. She's not my queen. She needs some help. Forever gonna love the monster track, but yeah.
She got some classics. The game has passed her by a little bit.
I think she needs to go tap into Roman. When she gets Roman,
she is great. Deion Sanders with the Ravens right now. That's who she is. Okay.
She's honestly Jim Harbaugh with the Ravens, right? Like, okay, all right.
Don't disrespect Jim Harbaugh like that. Don't disrespect him like that.
Did you watch the game I watched?
Don't disrespect him.
That play calling was terrible. The offensive coordinator terrible.
That's on Ty Monken. That's on. You know what? See, we getting off track.
Stay on track.
I've said my piece. Y'all ain't finna tell me that Tyler again. Like I said, if he does that, just give me 25 touchdowns. 25 touchdowns and less than 8 interceptions, and I'll get on this show.
Okay.
And I'll eat my words. Literally, I will eat Olive Garden. I will do it.
Hey, you will, and I will cash out and make sure we watch. We will have an Olive Garden dinner date here on air live.
But when it doesn't happen, because it won't, it won't.
You want me to buy you McDonald's? Okay.
Oh no, I need you to eat a Baconator on there, Miss. Oh, Wendy's is so terrible. I need you to get that Baconator ready. And no, you can't have one of those strawberry lemonades to wash it down either. Nope.
You're fat except for that.
I said what I said.
You're fat.
Do we got a deal or what? Even swap, no swindle. There we go. All right.
Woo! Let me pray for my cardiovascular health. That's fine. It is what it is. All right. let's just wrap this one up because I can't. I'm trying to be serious, but I'm losing it. Either way it goes, we have a lot of portal conversations to have throughout the offseason, as well as just where our teams we feel like are going to end up based on the improvements, based on spring ball, based on what, the rosters look like. And so we'll have all of that for you. We'll end here because, there's 5 minutes of people that actually do love this thing, ACC women's basketball. If you missed the weekend, you missed some good ones, okay? Just so you know. So a couple upsets, hey, where you been? We've been right here. Virginia Tech held it down against Syracuse. Mm-hmm. So kudos to them for being able to win against arguably the best team on paper, which is Syracuse in the ACC play. But the Hokies reminded them that Elizabeth Kitley is still that girl.
Yeah. Elizabeth Kitley is a Naismith Naismith Player of the Year watch list player for a reason. Georgia Amore is, she has the keys and she is the guard that gets it. She is the one with the she's the person that pours the sugar in the Kool-Aid, but Kitley is the one with the ladle stirring the drink. She's the one that, makes sure the flavors get in right. And so they're a good 1-2 punch, and they, got it done against Syracuse here.
1-2 punch after the Kool-Aid. That was good. All right, Virginia and North Carolina. Virginia with the upset, 81-66. North Carolina is just really that hot and cold, like you mentioned, team. They're very inconsistent. When they're good, they're great, but when they're bad, they're terrible.
Yeah. But you know what? And this goes to what I was talking about with Duke's men's basketball not overlooking Virginia Tech, because that's clearly what happened with this North Carolina team. How you let this Virginia team, who had one win in conference all year, upset you before this matchup against NC State is beyond me. But I will say this, Virginia, who are you? 2-7 in conference, and their 2 wins are against Florida State and UNC.
Yeah.
What's going on up there in Charlottesville? They only want to play some ball if they see a number next to your name. If they anything else, they just don't got the time to do it. They don't got the time to beat on the Georgia Tech. But when it comes to Florida State and UNC, all of a sudden, I feel like Beyonce, the Tar Heels have a problem. When they come to them who's coming through, the Tar Heels have a problem.
Oh, my gosh. NC State beat Boston College 82-61. Not much to say here other than that NC State took care of business, which is what they're supposed to do ahead of that North Carolina matchup, as you mentioned. It was just one of those games that's on the docket, but you gotta pull it out, and they did.
Absolutely. You got to show up in the ACC every single game. For those of you who don't remember, this same Boston College team beat them last year. So if you sleep in this conference, don't worry. Nobody's going to hit the snooze button for you, baby. They'll let you sleep right on your way to a loss. So Good job by Westmore and company, not overlooking this team headed into a big primetime matchup this week.
Louisville beat Pitt 77-58. Louisville team, again, taking care of business, flying under the radar to me nationally, but quietly one of the better programs, even despite having that big Haley Van Lith departure, who is struggling because their team lost against Mississippi State. But what do I know?
She's not a point guard. That's the problem. They got to play. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. Let's talk about who is still in the ACC. I'll tell you what, this Louisville team can fly as under the radar as they want nationally. In the ACC, you better put some respect on their names. You better put some respect on it. Yeah, sure, they might not have won the more recent ACC championships due to that NC State run of back-to-back-to-back and Virginia Tech last year. I'm telling you, put some respect on this team's name. It's never a doubt when it comes to Louisville, you're going to have a tough out on your hands.
Absolutely. Duke and Miami. Talk about putting respect on someone's name. Miami taking care of business against the Blue Devils 64-58. Even though that the Blue Devils, I feel like they are just right there. They are frustrating. They don't have, the A-list names, but they definitely have a A-list coach who is trying to get the best out of them. They're finding ways to win at some times, and they're just really coming up short in others. But I still want to circle that program because they are just there. But credit to Miami for the big win.
The unfortunate thing for Duke, they're in this conference at like one of the worst times to be in the ACC for women's basketball in terms of like if you want to compete and win. What do I mean by that? You are looking at so many teams that are so deep, so talented, so good that you can look up any night, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to be playing somebody ranked. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be playing somebody that's very, very good or that's beating somebody ranked. And so, with that being said, at the end of the day, I really do feel bad for Duke and all the departures that they've had recently. But credit to Miami. They did what they needed to do. They showed up, got themselves a win here. And I'll tell you, Miami is another one of those teams. They're going to get into the tournament. They have the resume that argues very hard for, hey, a win over a top 10 team in NC State. They've got a win against Duke here. They've got a couple other wins. I want to say Mississippi State earlier in the year. They've got the case. They've got the argument. Which Miami team are we going to get in the tournament is the only question.
100%. We'll end here with Florida State beating Georgia Tech 78-67 to Nia Lotson. That's that. We talk about Georgia A more, right? We talk about some of the best here in this country. Her name should be on that list always.
Latson got that dog in her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And some people gonna get mad at me for saying this. I'm gonna say it. Her and Timpson are a poor man's version of the Walmart version of Amore and Kitley. I'm gonna say it. The only difference is it's the inverse on importance here. And that Latson is the one that is the stirrer of the drink. And Timpson is the one that, she brings that big intimidating presence down low. She hits the boards extremely hard. But Latson is the one that if you can't stop her, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
100% agree. Clemson beat Wake Forest 73-59. It's just been that kind of year for Wake Forest and an up and down one for the Tigers. But nevertheless, it's always good to win, in this conference, especially as we get ready for NCAA tournament play, ACC tournament play. I just think it's setting us up for very much. You just don't know who's going to get it because any team that you scroll on this roster is beatable. Every single one. That's what makes it exciting.
Absolutely. And every team can beat these folks. I mean, that's the reality. You can't sit up here and play and act like, well, I just told you about Boston College beating NC State last year, but even this year, we've seen, I just told you about Virginia beating UNC and Florida State. There are so many teams in this conference that even if you consider them a quote-unquote bottom dweller, go to sleep on that bottom dweller if you want to. Go to sleep and say, oh, yeah, we got ourselves an easy win. Okay. All right. You're going to find out exactly how easy that win is when you're walking out with a loss.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, that's why they play the game. We've got more to go over this week. We have plenty of content to get to you, especially when it comes to football, men's basketball, and a lot of great games to be played. You don't want to miss any of it. So make sure you download, subscribe to the podcast from wherever you love to enjoy your podcast. We're Candace Cooper and Kenton Gibbs. Until next.